Hey, what's up guys? It's Lucas and you're watching Fine Tuning. Today we're going to tackle a request I've had many times, which is, can you show in one video from start to finish the process of upgrading a cheap guitar to a really nice guitar? Yes, absolutely we can do that. And to take it a step further, I'm going to do it in a way that anyone who has basic guitar knowledge can do, so you don't need any specialty tools or anything, so anyone can do this. We're going to use this Squier Affinity Strat because I've had good luck with Squiers in the past as mod platforms. And at the time of making this video, this guitar is only $229 on somewhere like Sweetwater, so that's a very inexpensive guitar. Now in my experience, these guitars tend to have pretty good fretwork, which basically means that you can get the action pretty low without having any buzzing or anything weird like that. They tend to have nice feeling necks that feel good in your hands and aren't sharp with the frets on the edges or anything like that. And they also usually have pretty good finish jobs, so like the paint job looks nice and it's well done, so we don't have to worry about any of that. So all we have to do is just focus on upgrading the other stuff that's easy to upgrade. Now I have several times taken these Affinity and Bullet type guitars and stripped the finish off of them and refinished them, like that Mustang and the Jazzmaster back there on the side. And that works great and it's pretty easy to do, but I want to keep this as accessible as possible, so we're not going to do any body finishing. We're going to leave that just as it is. So we have this Squiers in this kind of really cool looking kind of competition race green. The light's kind of making it look a little blue, but it's definitely a green color. However, one bit of finishing we are going to do is we're going to put tongue oil on the back of the neck as well as the front of the headstock. And that is mostly just to make it look a little higher end and a little nicer. Now the cool thing about tongue oil is that you don't have to have any kind of specialty equipment. You don't spray it, it's all a rub-on kind of thing. You just do it with some cloths and you rub it on and then let it dry and then kind of polish it and do it again until you get it the way you want it to. And also it's pretty low odor, so you don't have to have like somewhere specific to do it. You can just do it in your garage or do it in your room or in my office, which I'm going to do here, so that's always a plus as well. So that's going to make the guitar just look a little higher end, I think. We are also going to replace both the tuners and the tremolo bridge with Hipshot stuff, which Hipshot was kind enough to provide for this project. Links to the stuff that I'm using from Hipshot below. Thank you, Hipshot. And finally, we're going to be taking this entire pick guard and all the stuff attached to it out and replacing it with a new one from Planetone. It's going to have Planetone pickups and really nice pots and switches and all that stuff. And that'll be basically a direct pull this out and put the other one in, so it's really easy to do. Like I said, I wanted to keep this as accessible as possible. And that's going to tremendously improve the sound and the kind of functionality of this guitar, is just removing this whole thing and putting a new one in. So links to Planetone and the loaded pickguard and all that stuff in the description below as well. All right, let's get started. So first we need to take these cheap stock strings off, and then we are just going to take everything apart, and then we can deal with each separate part of the guitar individually. So we're going to take it all apart, and then we'll start by going ahead and getting our tongue oil going on the neck, because the tongue oil is going to take a few coats, and you kind of have to let it dry in between coats that you do. So we'll get started on that first so that we can be looking at other things on the guitar while that's drying, and then we'll go back and forth between oiling the neck and working on the rest of the guitar. So let's get to it. Okay, so I did run into one small setback here that I just wanted to document for you. So I didn't think to check and make sure that the Affinity Squier Strat body was the same thickness as a standard Strat body before picking out the tremolo system, I guess I should say. So the tremolo system that I got, the Hipshot here, is actually just a little bit too deep. The block is a little too long. So this is the original block. You can see it's a little too long. And so the problem that causes is that if I was to mount this just as it is, it kind of sticks out too far in the back here and you wouldn't be able to get the back plate closed, on top of the fact that you could pretty easily bump this while you were playing it and kind of make the guitar do something weird. So that's not optimal. So what I'm going to try here is to remove the block from this and see if I can substitute in and use the original Squier block, which is not as nice, and it's kind of a bummer because this is like got some weight to it. But you know, we're rolling with it. So I'm going to try to use the new bridge plate and saddles, but but just switch out this block. So let's try that and see if it works. Well, I just wasted a gigantic amount of time trying to do that. So yeah, basically what I'm going to do is use the original bridge, except for I'm going to change the saddles to the hip shot saddles. And that is why you should always measure and make sure that the parts you have are the correct fit before you try to do these things. So yeah, here's the original bridge plate and original block, and I'm just going to take and put these nice new hip shot saddles on it. I will come back to this later and figure out how to make this work by maybe finding a different block that fits or something. But for the moment, we're just going to roll with this because otherwise this might get shelved for a while. So let's get to it. right, so here's our finished Squier overhaul project. So first of all, just from listening A and B back and forth there, the difference to me is just like astounding how much better this guitar sounds now. In all honesty, it plays about the same because it had a good setup and the frets and everything were good out of the box. It's staying in tune better now because the locking tuners, and I put a little lubricant in the nut and stuff like that, it's staying in tune a little bit better, and just better strings. But playability wise, it's about the same. But this sound, no comparison. Like, to me, the original stock stuff, just not even close to what it's doing now. So let's just go over, again, real quick, everything that I did. So I replaced all of the stock electronics just with the whole complete new pickguard assembly from Planet Tone. So this is a parchment pickguard, and it has an HSS setup. This is a 1959 special bridge pickup, and then two 1959 overwound single coils, the neck and the middle set. And then rather than have a volume and two tones on this guitar, I have a master volume and a master tone. And in the middle here, I have a 3-position toggle that allows for series humbucking. This is all the bridge pickup. Series humbucking when it's down, split coil when it's in the middle, and then parallel humbucking when it's up, which to me just gives you a lot more options. So that's 3 different sounds right there, and then that's 3 different versions of the 2-position as well. So I try to demonstrate that in the video. But yeah, so that's the kind of what I would call the biggest contributor to the sound change is, of course, the pickups. But I did, like I said in that little clip, I kept the stock bridge plate and block because I had no choice because of the depth of the body. So definitely got to figure that out later. But I did change the saddles to these stainless steel saddles, and it does ring better, I think, and there's like some harmonic stuff that's happening that maybe wasn't happening before. It's hard to tell what's the saddles and what's the pickup, but it does definitely sound better, and it rings better acoustically. And then I've put the hip shot locking tuners on here. Now these are also staggered, so they're taller up here and they get shorter as they go down. So in actuality, I could remove these string trees and it would be okay. I just left them on there because I think it just kind of fits with the guitar. And then also we did the very light tung oil coat on the neck. That's a little kind of hard to see, I think, here, just in this particular light. But there's a little bit of a sheen to it that wasn't there before, and it's just a tad bit darker. So like when you're up close on it and you're looking at it, you know, right here, like where I am, it just looks a little nicer and it feels nice and smooth in your hands. So, but yeah, that's, oh, and I added strap locks, of course, because always with the strap locks, it's important. But yeah, overall, so basically, let me pull up some prices here so I can give you an accurate assessment. So that tuner upgrade, that's about $90 from Hipshot. Again, Hipshot, if I had used the entire bridge assembly, that would have been about $150. Keep in mind, like I said, in this case, I only used the saddles, but I would have liked to use the bridge. So I'll check in on that later and see if I can figure out how to make that work. So $150 there, and then the loaded pick guard from Planet Tone, that's right about $200 or something like that. So that means for this $230 guitar, I put about $440 worth of upgrades into it. So I far outstripped the value of the guitar originally. But what was the point is because I think, you know, like the question would be, why wouldn't you just buy a guitar right out of the box that's, you know, let's say we add that, so it's, you know, $670. If $670 was your budget, could you find a guitar for $670 that did exactly this thing? You know, like, I don't know necessarily that you could. That's kind of like Mexican Strat range, and I don't know that the Mexican Strats are going to have the tuners that you want and the nice bridge and the particular pickup set and switching and all that. You know, it's 6 and 1, half a dozen, you know. But I'm really happy with the way this turned out, and especially if you're like me and you like to tinker and do things, one thing I like to do is get something like this that's a good bones guitar and just get a piece of it at a time, you know. So like start with, I'm just gonna upgrade the tuners, and then, you know, when you have a little extra money, be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade the tremolo now, you know, whatever. And as you do it a little bit at a time and you're kind of playing the guitar the whole time, you're sort of making it your own and you're kind of imbuing it with your like personality, and it ends up becoming a really cool piece of guitar. So also these are really lightweight, which is awesome. So anyway, I'm really happy with the way this came out. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below, of course. I'm also going to leave links in the description to all of the stuff that I used for this project. Also, I said tung oil like 20 times. It's not actually tung oil. It's like boiled linseed oil. It's tried and true. So I'll leave a link to that in the description as well. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later.